Hello, good morning. We start with breaking news. Emergency services in Berlin say at least one person has died and around 30 people are injured after a car drove into a crowd on a street in the West German capital. Police say a man drove into a group of people, but that they do not yet know whether it was a deliberate act and that the driver is being held at the scene. Well, the actor John Barrowman and his husband Scott Gill are in Berlin and they saw what happened and they're both able to join us now. John and Scott, thank you very much for joining us. John, just tell us, what did you see?
Well, at about 10 o'clock this morning, we decided to go buy a couple of T-shirts and shirts and things Scott's going to a wedding. We're going on vacation beyond here. We came out of the store. I heard a noise while we were in the store, and we came outside to see police just zooming down the road. There was a cafe across from us that had all of the chairs barreled over, and they were smashed through. It was I think a Renault Clio silver one that had then looked like it had driven into the window. Now we thought that it was an accident because it was inside the store. So we started walking our way up the street, and it was about 2 city blocks that we walked up, and then the police just swarmed, and we saw the dead person in the middle of the road, covered, where we had dinner last night, where you're looking right now on the corner there on the screen on your right, the viewer's right-hand side. We had dinner over there. There was a lot of casualty. People injured over that area were being focused on by the emergency services. I saw a woman being put into an ambulance. They were looked like they were resuscitating somebody. They were right there was where it began, it looked like, and they came on the pavement. The person came on the pavement by the Levi store in the bank, drove then onto the street, hit the person and killed them in the street. Then came back onto the curb, went down the curb through the cafe area and then into the storefront. So it's like a 2 city to 3 city block area.
300 meter distance.
And when it happened, my friend Mikey Kay got on the phone, and you guys at Sky News know Mikey. He called me and he just was calling to say hi, but he said immediately to us, get behind a tree, get behind something in case there's a secondary wave. So while I was doing the videos and Scott was filming, we were standing behind a tree to try and make sure that we were protecting ourselves. But how horrible that this morning these people got up to just go through a regular day, that they were going through their daily business. I mean, we were shopping, we're okay. But if we'd have come out of that store 1 minute earlier, and we would have. Anyway, that's beyond it, but we can say from what we see, and we're not experts, but this looked intentional.
This looks intentional.
It looks intentional by the way the car went on the pavement,
back off onto the street and then back on again.
Yeah.
And in terms of that, you're also suggesting that it was quite a big area that this happened over. You were saying it was, a couple of blocks.
Yeah.
You saw one casualty quite a distance from where the car actually ended, Scott.
We could see from the Kaiser Wilhelm Church, which is right by the Europa Center. It's the kind of hub of West Berlin, the old West Berlin. We could only see from the Kaiser Wilhelm Church 300 meters down the street to, what's it called?
We've got the name of the road.
Marburger Strasse. It crashed on the corner of Marburger Strasse, just down from going eastbound from the Kudamm into the front of the store called Douglas clothing store. It was right in the window, and the doors were open as if someone had been dragged out. But there were chairs and tables smashed on the pavement, and just a trail of destruction. You could see the car zigzag on and off the pavement on the way down. It's 300 meters.
When we were doing the posts and the pictures, because I figured right away, we let my parents know we're okay. So to my family, we're okay. Scott's family, he's okay. It's just, I've never seen anything like the kind of carnage like that before. It's something we were walking back to the hotel and I said to Scott, did you ever think that we would be in the middle of something like that? And so it's quite awful, but the emergency services are there. They started pushing us back. What about, they're doing like...
Well, at first we were able to walk right into the scene because they were too disorganized. They were concentrating on saving the people who were injured. But gradually the cordon began to get expanded and we were pushed away. But for the first 10 or 20 minutes, it was just sheer chaos. They were
and it just keeps expanding.
Yeah, they were concentrating on the victims, obviously. And so we walked right through it without really realising what was happening.
Yeah, it's obviously a really distressing thing to witness. Are you guys both okay?
We're both fine, just a little
shocked, actually.
Quite shocked. I've never seen
a dead body just
lying in the middle of the street, ever. And also to see the, I mean, I'm sorry, but just to see just people hurt and people who are just innocent and senseless destruction by whoever has caused this, whoever's done it. I mean, a horrible person. And these people were just having breakfast at a cafe.
Yeah.
It's just awful. Just vicious thing to do. You sent us you posted some images and some video. Let's just show them to our viewers now because we're showing you the pictures from the agency at the moment. But these are some of the pictures that you posted earlier, and you can see the emergency service response. They obviously got there pretty quickly because you said you heard a noise, and then when you came out, the emergency services were there. So mercifully, a pretty quick response. Yes, in fact, I heard we were in the store. There's an Uniqlo across the street, and we were in the store, and I heard the smash, and that would have been about 10:30, and then we were out of the store by about 10:35, 10:40, because that's when we took that picture you're looking at now. That's when we took that at about 10:40. So it was a 10-minute period, but then we heard the sirens and then the helicopters and everything there was 3 helicopters there when we left. One, which we posted the footage of, which was landing to airlift somebody out. But they were taking care of people who were injured. And the poor person who was in the middle of the street was just left there. So, but yes, it was within minutes that the emergency services were there.
It was very, very quick.
They were very quick.
And the street that it was on, it was apparently also the same street that the Christmas truck attack happened back in 2016 in the same area.
I'm really surprised that you say that, because yesterday when we were walking after dinner, we were walking down the street where, you're looking at now. And I said to Scott, they've got all these bollards up on the pavement that must be to stop people, someone attacking and driving through a crowd of people. I had no idea that it was the same place.
Well, one of those bollards you can see was just smashed through. The car careered into one of those bollards and it was exploded onto the street, onto the sidewalk. It was full of sand, just weighted down with sand.
And that was next to where the person was lying,
right opposite the Kaiser Wilhelm Church. It's just at the end of Kurfürsten Damm.
So if you can go back, that footage that you have right now, can you pull out a little bit to see the street a little more? Because where that police van is, I don't know if you can tell the cap. So where that police van is, the bollard that Scott was talking about that was exploded was right in front of that van, the large police van with the blue flashing lights, and then the person's body was right there. So they've cordoned it off so nobody could see.
That's really interesting, isn't it? That clearly there were safety and security measures that have been put in place retrospectively since that attack, but it possibly appears that if this was a deliberate attack, that that they didn't manage to stop it entirely.
No, and it was and that was part of the reason we ate over there last night.
We ate right there in the center of the shop under those trees.
Where you see the trees by the Levi store, just to the left, we had dinner there last night, and we felt.
And that was literally where the car must have crossed it. The car would have crossed from right to left on the screen there on the other side of the road.
So for the viewers watching, from your right to the left, the car careened across on the pavement, went across the road, came onto the road on the other side of that pavement. And that's where it took the gentleman, or the person, sorry, I assume it was a gentleman, incorrect of me. The person, we don't know.
No, we don't know who was driving that car. And what was on the street itself? It appears relatively calm from the images that we're able to see there at the moment, but presumably it was pretty chaotic when you came out of that shop. There must have been a lot of very, very terrified people.
It was chaos when we realized that it was interesting when we thought the car was just an accident. When we started walking up the street, we saw more cordoned off tape. I said to Scott, this is something is wrong. And then he said, well, I said, look, they've cordoned off the next junction, and then they've cordoned off another section. Suddenly realized the scale was just getting bigger and bigger. And so I then immediately, I mean, the first thing I did was I called my mom and dad to let them know I was okay. And then Scott has spoken to his parents, but we knew it was something bigger than just an accident because of the scale of it, and also where you were looking, where the Levi store was. That was where I saw the most of the injuries that had happened, because there was a lot of emergency services focusing on people who were on the ground. People were getting up. Sorry, there's more emergency services going by. There was people getting up off the ground, limping away, and just being taken to ambulances and to fire trucks. It was
police
chaos.
Helicopter landed next to Mottstrasse,
Yes.
where the car crashed into the shop front. Obviously, went through some tables and chairs outside the store there.
So clearly, somebody had to be airlifted from the final part where the car went into the storefront window. And I think you had
Marburgerstrasse.
You have footage of the helicopter, don't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not what we wanted to wake up to. We were having such a lovely time, and we were sharing it with all of my family on social media, as we do with all our vacations and everything we do. And never did I think in my life that I'd be in the middle of a terrorist attack.
Well, it's a really terrifying thing to have witnessed. And we really appreciate you talking to us about it. Listen, guys, we'll let you have a moment, collect yourselves, maybe have a cup of tea would be my advice. Stay safe. And thank you so much for talking to us on Sky News. We really appreciate it. And thank you for sharing with us the images of what you saw this morning.
Thank you.
John
We're glad
Bowman.
to help. It's just be careful out there, because it was a horrific act.
Yeah, the blue.
John and Scott, thank you both very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.